What'd you think of the Prowler, Patrick?
The Prowler is an asterisk on this because I think you have to be a pretty significant horror fan, not just because this movie's not super popular, it's somewhat obscure, but, you know, the Prowler is great if you enjoy a certain type of movie.
Yes.
I think it's pretty well done. It's horribly written. Both these movies, some of the worst scripts we've been dealing with in this, in all the movies we've covered. I mean, not Killer Workout bad or Screwballs bad, but these are not well-written movies. But elevated, obviously, with the mainly the effects from Tom Savini, but the direction, there's some good stuff there. Nothing great with the acting. But yeah, if you like a horror movie, a slasher movie specifically, that there's just literally nothing to it except slashing, like there's nothing to be involved in emotionally, then this is the movie for you. I think I've seen some other movies like this, and this is one of the better ones. I would say The Burning is a bit like this. That's also a Tom Savini effects movie from 1981. That's the first Weinstein production ever, actually.
Oh, no.
But yeah, that's another movie where it's like this tiny bit of plot, but not really. And then there's all these characters. There's nothing to them except there's a Seinfeld connection. George Costanza's in that movie, not Elaine's dad, but George Costanza, his first non-KFC commercial acting role. Actually, it might predate his KFC ad. I don't know. But yeah, I think this movie's well done for what it is. You know, don't expect anything profound. You're not watching The Exorcist. You're not watching The Shining. You're watching something better than The Shining, to be honest. No, I enjoy it more than The Shining. I'm not going there. I'm not going all the way there. But yeah.
Now, is this the first time you've seen it?
Think? No. I've seen it before. Joe Bob Briggs hosted it for, I think his first marathon thing that he did for Shudder, the 24-hour marathon. That was the first time I would have seen this. And I think it was the only time I saw it. This might be just the second time I've seen it. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This is the first time I've seen this, much like with almost every other movie on our podcast.
Had you seen Friday the 13th Part 3, by the way? I don't think I asked you that.
No. I that's one of the ones I have not seen. I've seen
okay, interesting.
1, 2, 5.
4. I know you've seen 4.
4. Jason X for sure.
Freddy vs. Jason?
Absolutely.
You've seen the remake. You've mentioned the sex scene in the remake, so yes. I know you've seen that.
Yeah.
It's the most memorable thing about that movie, arguably.
But yeah, this movie was great. The Prowler was great. And again, as you said, do not come into this movie expecting like a work of art. If you want to just see people get killed, like a semi-scary movie where people just get brutally murdered, then yeah, it's going to deliver. And I think for what it is,
I'm a big advocate of the when it comes to horror movies, the get a man who can do both meme. They don't all have to be this. But sometimes I enjoy seeing something like this. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I enjoy seeing a much headier, more emotionally involving horror movie. Obviously, like The Wicker Man is really interesting, has a lot of great ideas. The Exorcist, even The Omen, I think is a good mix of both. There's like a good plot, but we get like goofy, kind of over the top kills in that one. So that The Omen, I think, is a great example of the man that can do both. But this movie can only do one of those things, and it does a very good job of it.
I assume the Omen movies are on our list somewhere.
Maybe just the first one. Okay. I think I just I know every horror movie ever has had sequels at this point, and I had to be a little if I'm going to have all 28 Puppet Master movies, maybe I don't have all 3 Omen movies. Okay, the line needs to be drawn somewhere. So I think just the first Omen. Now
I got a question for you, because you pointed out that the Prowler is pretty obscure. It's not well known.
It's not super well known. It's not a well. First of all, it's like hard to find anywhere.
It is. I originally
we watched this thing on YouTube, fortunately, but like one of those free versions that was probably illegally uploaded. So by the time this episode comes out, maybe that's down. It's not like streaming anywhere. It's not on Google Play or
no.
Prime
And
or
too.
Anything.
And I started watching it on YouTube, and I had to stop because everything, like the frame was cut out and everything like that. So I just Googled the Prowler 1981, and it took me to this weird fucking site called like BitChunk or Chunk Bit.
All right, this is where we're cutting this part because Jim is admitting to a felony.
No. I didn't download it or anything. I just Googled it and went to this. Yeah, and
I thought you were about to.
No, it went to
Well, in that case, I will admit to a felony in that. No, I was going to say I killed a snake on camera, just like Tom Savini.
Yeah, but no. So my question was, this movie is a lot better, in my opinion, than Friday the 13th Part 3. But why is this movie not as well known as Friday the 13th? Why did it not get
fair question? It's really because the first Friday the 13th, obviously it hit something about that movie just popped with the public. It just came out at a time when we had Halloween, but we hadn't had a whole lot of movies like that since. Friday the 13th comes out, super popular. Even though Halloween is like, or Halloween or Black Christmas or Texas Chainsaw, whatever, are like considered like the first slasher movie. Friday the 13th is really what kind of made that a movement, if you will. And so that sees a bunch of imitators. The Halloween sequels started coming out after Friday the 13th, which I think is notable.
Gotcha, okay.
I think it's just, and really after Friday the 13th, what movie like had the impact that Friday the 13th had until Nightmare on Elm Street? Like a slasher movie, I should say.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. Like, and there's, I mentioned The Burning. The Burning might be better than any Friday the 13th movie. It's certainly better than the first one. This is better than a number of Friday the 13th movies, probably better than the first one. I think that's debatable at least. Yeah, I think it's just like the right time. And then there's something about, especially once we get the hockey mask with Jason, there's just something iconic about that, although that isn't what you had with the first two movies. So I don't know. I think it's when you have a successful movie, there's a lot of luck involved. I mean, sometimes it's just like a really, really good movie and it finds its audience over time, but there's a lot of really good movies that never find an audience, and I don't know, there's a lot of bad movies that do. So I think there's just a lot of happy accidents going with Friday the 13th, and The Prowler just didn't have the same thing. And I don't know. I think it's all timing. Friday the 13th, 1980. This, a year later, probably after we've even gotten Friday the 13th Part 2, we would just been seeing this type of thing before.
Yeah, and I think as well, to be honest, I like the look of the Prowler, the army helmet.
The killer look, the visual, yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
But I don't think the American GI is...
Ever looked like that? Well, no, I see what you mean.
Yeah, well, okay. I was going to say,
I see where you're going.
The American GI is too almost like patriotic of an image to make it look
Hey,
really
listen, we've had Uncle Sam killer movies. It's happened. I haven't seen them. I know they're out there.
but you know what I mean though, right? Because this is a movie about a guy returning from World War II who is jilted and he kills his girlfriend or his ex because he's upset that she broke up with him. And
there's potential for and I say potential for, like, I'm talking like a different script entirely because this movie wasn't going in that direction. But to make like a revenge kind of horror thing where you're kind of sympathetic towards the soldier, towards the veteran.
Yeah.
You could go like a First Blood route. I mean, clearly that's very far from what this movie's going for. But I think you could have a movie where like this soldier, like, yeah, he was a hero, but he lost his mind. And then there's some interesting things with that. But yeah, I understand the patriotic point. We don't tend to want to see a character like that be a killer. I mean, I love me some Maniac Cop. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I see what you mean. But Jason, there is literally nothing to Jason. And somehow we can make that scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that this isn't scary, but there's just something about the nothingness of Jason or the nothingness of Michael Myers. He's just pure evil. There's something about that grabbed the public in a way that this guy didn't, or Cropsey from The Burning didn't, or the killer in what's that movie called where he wears an owl mask?
I have no clue.
Some Italian movie where he goes around killing people I think it's Stage Fright. I think it's one of those Italian movies that has a few names, but Stage Fright. There's a guy going around killing people who are like doing play rehearsals, and he wears an owl mask. Like, it's just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, and I guess while we're still on the subject,
of owls?
Yeah, yeah, of the Prowler, of American GIs, and a quick Google search for this movie will bring up articles about like PTSD and how it was portrayed in this movie, or links to PTSD. And I think anybody writing articles like that, like, sure, you can make a pretty vague
Well,
or
yeah,
loose connection.
If you're writing a scholarly article on the Prowler, you should have your head examined. I'm sorry, this is
exactly because
there's stuff again. Write about your PTSD representation in First Blood.
Exactly.
Do not write about it with the Prowler.
Yeah, because I don't think there's much under
even the Rambo sequels we're abandoning all connection with that shit.
Yeah.
It's just an action movie.
Yeah, and you know what the Prowler is? Nothing. There's nothing under the surface. It is just surface level, and that is it. It is a slasher movie.
The Prowler is one of the most direct movies you will ever see.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
It is uncomplicated in every capacity. It is what you think it is. To paraphrase the great Denny Green, it's you're not a football guy. You don't get that. It's fine.
No. I'll trust you though.
Denny Green is the Arizona Cardinals coach who they just lost a game to the Bears, who were having a very good year. And afterwards in the interview, they were asking him "Oh, so what did you think? The Bears are really good." And he's like, "Fuck it, they were who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. We could have beat them. We're not going to crown these guys. They're not that much better than us. We were beating them, and we just let them beat us." Yes, wow. The Prowler is who you think it is.
Yeah, and I think that's a great spot to leave it for the Prowler. It is what it is. It is what you think it is.